Welcome back to Marella Explorer 2.
Yes, welcome back to the series. If you have been watching along, this is part number 4 from our adventures.
'Tis correct, and if you're new here, we are Travels with David.
And Mark. We bring you along for weekly cruise and travel-related videos.
Correct.
In this series, we've already brought you along for Embarkation.
Yes, and we had a day in Lanzarote where we did an excursion, so that video's out there into the ether.
Did a bit of wine tasting.
We did.
So watch those if you've not already. Oh, and we also took you along for our first ever Dress to Impress night.
Yes. However, today we've got a day at sea, and then tomorrow we're getting off. And that means getting off the ship. Just letting you know so you don't switch off immediately. So come along with us. We'll show you what a day at sea is like. We don't know what we're going to get up to. You'll find out when we do. And then we'll find out what the disembarkation process is like tomorrow.
Because it's very different to any other cruise line that we've done.
Yeah.
So,
intriguing.
yes.
But you'll have to stick around and watch to find out why. So come along with us and let's see what we get up to.
Yeah, because you know us, we've not researched what there is to do, so...
Yippee for us! Bye! I'm walking to the wall.
You join us first for lunch in the main dining room. We've mentioned this in previous vlogs, but we really did like this space. It's bright, open, and the tables for two make a huge difference. Today, we went for a lighter lunch. Well, apart from this pie. And okay, apart from the desserts. But honestly, we found the food on board to be one of the highlights of this sailing. On with the rest of the sea day. If you watched part 1 of this series, you'll know we previously struggled to find things to do on board that weren't centred around the pool. We found that the only bar open until later in the afternoon was the pool bar, and unless you wanted to do trivia out in the sun, or the cold, as was often the case on this sailing, there really wasn't much else going on. We gave them the benefit of the doubt at the time, assuming it was because it was a port day and changeover day in Tenerife. However, today, on a sea day, it was exactly the same daily schedule. Inside bars were closed, activities all outside, and once again the inside areas of the ship felt a bit like a ghost town. So given that it was slightly nicer weather today, we headed outside to see what there was to do. Tucked away up on deck 15 is the ship's mini golf course. It's all included in your cruise fare and putters and balls are available at the start of the course. It's a really fun way to pass some time, although we weren't very good at it. Being completely honest, we didn't actually finish the course. Up on deck here, in the wind, it was freezing cold, and the layout of the Crazy Golf didn't quite hold our attention. Still, at least it's something to do outside of that pool scene. Continuing our wanderings, we headed to the aft of the ship to check out the wake. It has to be one of our favourite views on a sea day. Do you agree? Honestly, that was the entirety of our sea day activities. We don't need constant entertainment or a packed schedule, but we do need atmosphere, and what we found on this sea day was a port day programme, which left large parts of the ship feeling very quiet. We'll share our more in-depth views of this in a separate review video. For our final evening on board, we're dining at Vistas, the Italian section of the included main dining room. After a fairly sad looking bruschetta, the rest of the food was really nicely presented and genuinely delicious. David opted to pay a £5.95 supplement for the carbonara, which is prepared tableside inside a Parmesan cheese wheel.
We took it away from me.
And after my main arrived, David was still waiting, with the cheese wheel now parked at someone else's table. At this point, someone did come over to check we had everything we needed, but alas, David was still without his wheel. Watching them scrape the last bits of cheese with a fork, we weren't entirely sure it was worth the wait, or the upcharge, but it was still fun to see a blast from the past in action, a very 1990s rotary cheese grater. An affogato and lemon tart later, it was time for a cruise tradition.
It's time for our galley parade! Come on, let's see those napkins waving in the air. Here we go, some of our fantastic galley team, our waiters and our waitresses are going to be making their way around deck number 6 and gathering sound.
Like you never we go.
This was the last night of many of the crew's contracts, so it genuinely was lovely to see everyone singing along and celebrating together.
You wait for me, hold me like you never happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Tonight's show in the Broadway Show Lounge was ABBA Life Story, and having arrived a little early, we managed to grab seats up in the balcony. They really do offer a great view, although from everyone else's perspective, don't you think it looks like people are sat in one of those ride vehicles from Spider-Man or Transformers at Universal? No, just us.
Welcome to Life Story.
Our story begins in the summer of 1966, before the hits,
Before the breakout performance.
before ABBA. I was standing by the phone. Not only did they win, but Waterloo. So nice, it used to be so good. So when you hear me, darling, can't you hear me? Yes,
Sorry to cut the show short. However, the show was cut short.
It was cut short.
For us.
Yes.
So truth be told, it's the next day. We wanted just to take some time, not talk in the heat of the moment. However, there was an incident at the show that was not nice.
It wasn't
shall we
really
say.
the way we wanted to end this trip.
No.
Let's say.
So at the beginning of the show, what we need to say first is at the beginning of the show, they come over with a tannoy announcement to say, take photos and videos. We want you to take those and share them with your friends and family. And obviously we're sharing them with you guys, but not to use flash photography.
Yeah.
So do everything but flash photography.
Yes.
Like, fine.
And I would say we are very discreet with the way that we film. We turn the screen brightness down as low as we can.
Yeah.
And I keep the camera
Yeah.
so that it's not blocking any view more than I am blocking the view, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I had my phone to get some close-up shots because the zoom on my phone's quite good. And again, I had it kind of like here to make sure that we weren't disturbing people. However, there was a lady behind us who did not take kindly to seeing us filming, decided to slap me and then tell me off and then shout in my face telling me that you're not allowed to film. Even though they said an announcement at the beginning of the show saying that we were. So I decided, once that had happened, I was like, well, I'm not going to sit here arguing with someone. I'm just going to get up and leave and just let someone know. I just wanted to let a member of staff know that this woman had hit me, essentially. And so I went and we'll say, actually, Marella, there is no one around. When the show starts, there are no staff on hand at the doors or anything like that. They all disappear. So I struggled to find someone. Eventually found the entertainment manager in a downstairs. I think I was in a staff only area, but I was told to go there by another member of staff that I collared, and I was like, is there anyone that I can speak to? And they said, I'll go down there. The entertainment director's down there. So I went and spoke to her. And then I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed with how they handled it. Because it was very much we'll take your cabin number. Can you let us know where you were? So I did. And I took there was a guy that was with the entertainment director, and I think it was called Danny, and I took him to show him where the woman was, but she was allowed to stay and finish the show. And then and we were offered to find other seats, but at that point I was like, I don't want to
be there.
I don't want to go back in there. So we left and went and I was shaking because you don't expect to be hit by and there was no
like we said,
tap.
Our issue isn't with her telling us not to film. If she had have gently said, I'm really sorry, guys, I know you can film, but it's a little bit off-putting. Do you mind if you just don't?
We would have stopped.
We would have absolutely said, sorry, yeah, fine. And also, just to say, we take tiny clips every so often. We're not there filming the whole show.
No, it would be like a 25-second clip
every so often, because, well, you can't put a lot of stuff in here anyway because of copyright. So, yes, if she'd have just tapped us and said, sorry, can you not, we would have not. It was the fact that she went straight to violence.
Full-blown anger and violence. So I was not happy with that. So whoever that lady is, if you're watching, maybe reconsider how you approach situations in the future, please?
Yes.
And that kind of put a dampener on the night. So we left there, we went to go get a drink to try and calm down, and then we went to bed.
We went to bed, yes. Yeah.
As for the show itself, from the 10 minutes that we did see, it really wasn't for us. Apparently the cast have to learn 12 shows per contract, and if we're being completely honest, it shows here. With fairly basic choreography, it felt more suited to a village hall than a large theatre, and we mean absolutely no disrespect here. This isn't a reflection on the cast, they were clearly doing the best with what they were given. But the end result simply didn't work for us.
But anyway, that brings us on to today, which is Disembarkation Day.
Yes.
We've been for breakfast, our first breakfast in the main dining room.
Yes. Later than we thought it was, because we were told about the time going, the clocks went forward an hour last night to get us onto the time that it is in Malaga. However, because of everything that happened, we totally forgot to
change our clocks.
To change our clocks. So we got to breakfast thinking it was 9 o'clock. It was 10. So I'm glad we got in. We must have got in just before it closed because breakfast closes at 10. It does mean we were planning to go to a behind-the-scenes thing, a behind-the-scenes tour in the theatre, which apparently is free. Which, if it is, then fab. However, that was at 10:30, and by the time we realised the time and all that sort of stuff, it had already happened.
Yes. Well, breakfast in the main dining room was all right.
My omelette was nice. I enjoyed my omelette.
All right. The fruit juice was very weak.
I don't know why they call it fruit juice. I'm pretty sure, I would bet money on it, that it's squash.
Yeah.
And it's been squash this whole trip.
Yeah, and they've varied the amount of water they've put in.
Yeah. Like the apple juice had no water.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are now we've got time to kill.
We're packed, we're ready to go. But the interesting thing with Marella, and I don't know if we've spoken about this yet, our flight is obviously booked as a package with Marella as part of the fly cruise. It's not until 8 o'clock this evening.
No.
Which means we don't get picked up for our transfer till 4:30 this afternoon.
Yes. However...
Well, you don't have to get off the ship.
No. This is a fab thing about Marella. So on any sailing, as far as we're aware, you can stay on the ship until your coach leaves. Yes.
Ordinarily,
you have to be out your cabin by 8 a.m, but you can stay on the ship till whenever your coach is.
Yes, and I think they have some cabins that are available maybe if you want to freshen up.
Yes, or you can apparently request late checkout, which I think it's about £50 normally to have late checkout, and then you can stay in your cabin up till 3 p.m. I think you get your cabin up till 3 p.m. However, and I think we've touched on this maybe on the last video or this video, at some point in this series, we've touched on the fact that this ship is going into dry dock. This is the last sailing before dry dock. So fair play to Marella, because they could have quite easily still charged for late checkout, but they basically said to everyone, it's going into dry dock, so keep your cabin for the day.
Yeah, no one else is getting on today.
Yeah. So not even till 3 p.m, it's just until, so we've got our cabin till our coach leaves at 4:30.
Yeah, for no extra charge, we've got our cabin now all day till 4:30.
Yay! So fair play to Marella on that, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I like that. Anyway, we're going to go... What we're going to do?
I don't know, have a wander around. We'll take you along for Disembarkation so you can see.
We apparently are allowed off the ship and back on again. We can go... so maybe we'll go...
explore,
touch our feet on Malaga and see what there is. We haven't seen what the port situation is or how close we are to the town or anything like that. So come with us. As always, you'll find out things when we do, because we do no preparation.
And what we found was a secret little staircase, tucked behind a storage area, and another of Marella Explorer 2's onboard cows. We're not sure what this one's called. Do they even have names? Either way, we carried on and found a perfect viewpoint over the bow of the ship. This would have been an amazing spot on yesterday's sea day, although today we're already in Malaga. With Marella's slightly different approach to disembarkation, not only do you get to stay on board until your allocated pickup time, you can also continue to make use of the all-inclusive drinks package. You can grab a beer, or head to one of the open bars right up until you leave, which is a really great perk.
Last Prosecco's of the trip, potentially. Probably not. Oh, it tastes different out of a plastic glass.
Tastes different out of a plastic glass, and this is the standard all-inclusive Prosecco, whereas we've been on the premium stuff.
That's true.
So this is...
it's a little bit more acidic, shall we say.
Yes.
Cheers though, still drunk it.
Well, we had one glass of Prosecco, and now they've run out.
We're not allowed any more.
And that's the only bar that's open. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, there might be one down there. Can we not go try that one?
What, the other pool bar?
The other pool bar might have some.
Oh, I'll go and try that. Well, that bar did have Prosecco, but they ran out of flutes.
Love a Prosecco in a tumbler.
Yes. But why didn't that other barman tell me to go to the other bar to get Prosecco?
Because they don't care.
He just barked at me that there was no Prosecco.
He was quite rude.
Anyway, cheers.
We've got some now.
I'm in the ball shade. I'm shaded by the ball.
Yeah. You could say you've got balls in your face.
Another great perk is that Nonna's, the included pizza and pasta restaurant, is open on Disembarkation Day, so you can fuel up before your long journey home. And home time it was. Luggage collected, we headed for the gangway. With guests able to disembark throughout the day rather than all at once in the morning, getting off the ship was incredibly calm. No long waits for the lifts, and no long queues to scan to get off the ship. Before we knew it, we were off and they were already starting preparations for dry dock maintenance. It was really interesting to see. Not a minute can be wasted to get her back out on the water for the next passengers. If you'd chosen to leave your baggage outside your cabin the night before, you'd have been given a colour-coded tag. Once off the ship, you simply find the corresponding baggage carousel. We chose to self-disembark, so headed straight to the coach for our included transfer to the airport. Just like embarkation day, there was absolutely no stress here. It was someone else's responsibility to get us to the airport on time, and we honestly loved that. Before long, we were on the plane, tired, and very much ready for home.
And we're home.
We are, yes, after a 3-hour flight and a 2-hour drive from Birmingham, we're back at home.
It's nice to be back.
Yes, it is.
But sadly, that does mean it is the end of this trip, and we are done now until our next trip.
Yes.
Which is going to be very interesting because we're going to be on the oldest ship sailing out of the UK currently.
Yes, so if you do fancy watching that, do subscribe so you don't miss it.
Yes. And if you've liked this video, hit the like button.
Yeah, if you've watched along and followed for the series, we really do appreciate it.
Yes, and if you've got a favourite moment from the series, pop that in the comments below because we'd love to know if you've watched the whole thing. What was your favourite bit of it?
My bit was when David farted.
My bit was when I got assaulted. But that is the end, sadly.
It is. Yes, if you want to find out if we thought Marella was for us and if we would do another cruise, we are going to do a full review.
Yes, which will be on
the next video.
And
yes.
if it's available while you're watching this, it'll be somewhere.
It'll be here as part of the playlist where you can also catch up on all of the rest of the series if you missed it.
You can.
If not, YouTube thinks you might like this video if you can see where I'm pointing. We'll see you over there if you fancy it. But if not, we'll catch you on the next adventure. Bye.